I just want to know, how do we know you're natural? Kai Green was natural. When I met him, was fucking natural. I was natural, and I was cocky because I beat guys on juice, and I was like, yeah, I'm natural. And then when I saw him, I was like this. I couldn't fucking believe it. His back was so fucking thick. And he had, I had legs too. I always had legs. But he had...
So there's genetical phenoms out there.
Right.
Let's talk about some bodybuilding topics now.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm ranting.
That's so good. So recently Arnold Schwarzenegger made some comments. He said that, I forgot where it was, but it was in a press conference or something like that. And he said that he thinks bodybuilding should be regulated for steroids. They should be tested. It should be steroid free. And he basically made it seem like he's against steroids now. So when you hear a statement like that coming from him, what is your first thought?
Well, of course you're going to think, when you hear Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, I'm against steroids and all that, well, that's like the serial killer that found Jesus and God when he was in jail. I'm in jail now. I killed 25 people, right? But now I found Jesus. Why didn't you find Jesus when the girl was on the meat hook in your garage? You know what I'm saying? Before why didn't you find Jesus when you had that girl tied up in your shed below, in the bunker below?
Very descriptive, Greg.
Why didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, back when he was competing, say, you know what, I'm going to try natural. I want everybody to follow my lead. He's full of shit. I love Arnold, I do. But Arnold talks out of the crack of his mouth. Supposedly he's vegan. You watch the video.
I was going to ask you that next.
Okay, well, we'll wait for that one then. but
yeah, he's also vegan now.
Yeah, well, he's vegan my ass, okay? I'm a vegan too. I eat animals that only eat vegetables. But he's full of shit. He showed his refrigerator. First of all, he's eating eggs. Okay, he's got eggs in there. No vegan, real true vegans won't eat eggs. And then he said, when my friends come over, I like to make them a nice steak. He said that. And they asked him, what were some of your favorite foods? And he said steak. That's, unless I'm wrong, unless it's a vegan steak, which I never heard of. But let's get back to the Arnold thing in the other way. Let me tell you something about Arnold, okay? He's saying this, he can't stop bodybuilding from doing stuff. Arnold, if you're watching this, I got an idea. Why don't you make the Arnold Classic 100% drug tested, natural, test their hair follicles and do all that. Be the leader. Don't just talk. Start it yourself. You won't do it. Because then you're getting no contest. You won't get anybody in that show. And you're not going to draw anybody over there. It's bullshit.
That happened before. Remember Olympia did it a couple of years?
Yeah.
You remember.
I remember Lee Haney. He went down to 225 and he still won the Olympia. That's the year that, I think in Chicago, where Lee Labrada almost beat him. You know? And you got to remember, okay, what I think that Arnold really means is, I don't know if he wants to really, really, really get rid of steroids. That would be massively hypocritical, and it would kill the sport, and nobody would go along with that. Nobody. I can't imagine him going along with that. But if I was him, I would be a little bit more specific, talk to the powers that be, and I would say, let's not worry so much about steroids, but let's start cracking down on some of these peptides and IGFs and insulin use, because it's going to kill a lot of these guys. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask you, because you gave a few interviews to us before.
Yes.
You were very adamant about the dangers of insulin and just the amount of the substances that these guys take nowadays.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to testing, like, are you going to tell them just don't do this much, do this much? You know what I'm saying? It's either you test or you don't test, right?
You can't. You know what you could do?
As an organization, I'm saying.
You could either ban certain stuff, right? Substances. I couldn't spit that word out. You could either say, look, no more insulin. Even IGF. If you have cancer in you and you take IGF, you're done. You know what I'm saying? Enough for nothing. But look at even the kid, the big country there, the Dallas McCarver. When they cut him open, they found out he had thyroid cancer. So his career was gonna, if he lived, his career would have, he'd be competing today. Probably, because that thyroid cancer would have, they would have had to do something about it.
But if you're the organization, right, you sit down and you try, okay, we need to decide what we're doing, right? What are you going to decide? We're going to ban these substances, we're not going to ban these. Like, how do you, it's either, you know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of pick one side here, right? What is your take on it, Arnold? Forget about Arnold, like, what is your take on this whole thing?
I would be a hypocrite to say, make it natural. You can't. You can't. It's too far gone.
No, there's actually a few organizations that do natural life.
Oh, I know. I used to run natural shows for the NPC. I was with the NPC before Steve Weinberger was the district chairman. I was there. I was there before him. The Atlantic States was my show. I called it the Atlantic Coast, okay? But it was my show under Carl Campagna. So I was there when it first started, the NPC.
You kept it natural.
I kept it natural because in my area there wasn't a lot of juice guys, okay? And I was natural, and I had a reputation of being natural, so it kind of went. Here's the thing, though. If you want to have natural bodybuilding, just like if you want to have a transgender powerlifting thing, transgenders go into the transgender powerlifting. If you want to have natural bodybuilding, it's good for natural guys who don't want to compete. So we don't want to take that away. Let's have natural bodybuilding. Which
they do have.
But maybe the NPC should have a natural division. There you go, Jim Mannion. I said it first.
So what's
maybe
the other?
They should have a whole division for guys who, because they run quality shows. A lot of these natural shows is just Polygraph and bullshit. But right. So why not have the NPC, instead of adding another division? Now you got classic physique, or classic bodybuilding, whatever it is, bodybuilding. All the other bullshit. Let's add in a whole division for guys who compete naturally, but you got to really do serious testing on them.
But Greg, what do you call the other one? Unnatural then?
No, I know what you're saying, but all right, drug tested and undrug tested, whatever. I'm saying I'm trying to appease people here. I'm not saying that that's what I want. I like bodybuilding the way it is. Okay, right. I think it's your choice. Personally, I don't want to take the natural bodybuilding shows away. Is what I'm trying to say. But I think it should be your choice. If you decide that I want to compete naturally, but you're going to go in a show with guys, that's what I did. You go in a show with guys that are taking drugs, that's you. You know what I mean? Kai Green has won shows. What's his name? Mike Ashley's won shows. Jean-Paul Galim's won shows. Ronnie Coleman's won shows as a natural. But here's the thing. Now, let me get back to Arnold for a second, because I think that what Arnold means is, I think the drug use has got out of hand, but it's not steroids. They're still doing the steroids like they did in Arnold's day. But now, the IGF, the insulin, and all those, and the growth hormone, I think it's out of control. So I think if what they want to do is do something, they could either do weight or height classes. In other words, you have to be at a high, like the old AAU. When I used to compete, there wasn't even an NPC, it was an AAU. And AAU went by weight sometimes, but then height. Guys at this tall, guys at this tall. And you could have a weight limit on each one too. This way here, you don't have to worry about some guy 350 pounds, 300 pounds going against another guy that's 225. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you go by height, weight, or whatever. That's one way to control, so guys aren't trying to constantly getting super huge, you know what I mean? I don't know, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Or you just got to ban certain substances. I think you could say, look, steroids are allowed, but we got to start banning, insulin, and because that's what's really making everybody humongous anyway. It's the insulin, the IGF,
But I heard everybody's using that.
Right.
On that level.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Not on that level, just in general.
But I'm saying if I was Arnold, I'm hypothetically thinking, I'm not telling guys, listen, all you guys, simmer down. I'm not sitting there telling everybody, I want drug testing. I don't want drug testing. I think it should be whatever. I think it is what it is. That's me. But if you're asking me, how can we do this? What can be done? Arnold's saying this. Maybe Arnold means, let's stop some of this insulin, because he doesn't like the guts, okay? He doesn't like the way the physiques look. And a ripped, striated waist that's 40 inches isn't pretty. It's not pretty. Their asses are like this, some of them. And yes, they're shredded, but it doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying? Lee Haney was in my house in 1987 for 3 days, okay? And I think he told me he was like 278, almost 280 pounds. And his ass was this big, and his waist was, I even said to him, bro, your ass is like this big. And he said, stop looking at my ass, you know what I mean? But I just meant, because he didn't have any bloat. He could suck in his stomach and you'd see his ribs. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think that Arnold is saying, let's get more back to that. And the only way to do that is to stop this massive insulin. I'm just thinking like Arnold here. Maybe that's what he means. There's no way you can get rid of steroids.
But if you go to a bodybuilding show, would you rather go to a natural or enhanced? You personally?
Me? Oh, enhanced. Enhanced. I respect natural guys. I do.
We're actually making a movie about natural bodybuilding right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, we're gonna be going to. There's actually a thing called Natural Olympia in Vegas also. It's called.
Oh, I didn't know
Natural,
that.
Yeah,
Who
Natural.
run, what is it, NGA or something?
IB. Was it?
Piana?
Yeah, something like that.
See,
You know Danny Keikos?
oh,
No?
not really. I might have known these guys. You
Michael
know,
Hearn is part of that organization.
Michael Hearn is. All right, now here's the problem. I know. See, here's the problem. I don't know Michael Hearn, so I can't talk for him.
You don't know Michael Hearn?
No, I don't think I've met him. I don't know. Mike, if you're watching, I don't remember if we met or not. But here's the thing. Okay, the biggest problem, and all these guys are waiting for me to say this, and I'm going to say it, get ready, is that we don't know if they're really natural. How do I know? You can't take a polygraph. If you took a polygraph, David Berkowitz never touched nobody. You know what I mean? There's people who, I had a friend who was so juiced up out of his mind, he took a polygraph, he popped a Xanax, and he passed it. You know what I'm saying? And he was juiced out of his mind. So we don't know, right, guys? You guys watching this, I'm sure they're like, thank you for saying that. Is that we don't know that these guys are really natural. Passing a polygraph means nothing. That's why they don't use it in a court of law. It means nothing. You know what I mean? It means nothing. There's plenty of people who fail polygraphs who didn't do anything. And then there's plenty of people who pass who are no good. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is, natural, how do we know that they're really natural bodybuilders? You're going to test their hair follicles, you're going to test their blood, you're going to look, you know, that's, I don't really know the... I
guess in some cases, like if the winner, they do like a test afterwards, and if they fails, then they take away the title, something like that. But
Listen,
I'm going to find out more while making the comment.
I don't know Michael Hearn, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He will think he's not natural. People say he's not natural.
Right, well, here's what I'm going to say. He's probably not far from my age, all right? He's in his 50s, I think, okay? And all I can say is, or even if he's in his late 40s, I don't know what the fuck he is, but he's bigger now and more jacked and more ripped and everything than he was when he was younger. It's supposed to go, I'm not big like I was. Yeah, it's supposed to go the opposite way. As you get older and you're 50 years old, you know what I mean? You start coming down, you know what I mean? How does he get more jacked and more, you know, like, you know, I'll rip out your neck and shit down the hole, you know, all veiny and, you know. So I mean, I'm skeptical. I'll give anybody a doubt because I'm, you know what I'm saying? But he's as natural as Matt Crook's gender fluid. But, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, guys, a little humor there. But that's my belief. I just want to know, how do we know you're natural? Kai Green was natural. When I met him, was fucking natural. I was natural, and I was cocky because I beat guys on juice, and I was like, yeah, I'm natural. And then when I saw him, I was like this. I couldn't fucking believe it. His back was so fucking thick. And he had, you know, I had legs too. I always had legs. But he had fucking...
So there's genetical phenoms out there.
Right.
Michael Hearn could be, I'm just saying.
He could, but I mean, you know, I don't know. Franco started hitting on her. And they had to...
Somebody's girl?
Yep, once again, somebody's girl. So they had to pull him back. They had to pull my friend, Tony Best, back. And Tony Best would have killed him. He's a martial artist, bad dude. So now, everybody's calming it down. Mike Matarazzo was like, Franco, you should just, you know, get out of here or something, bro. It's, you know, you're causing trouble. So Franco all of a sudden disappears.